All right, everyone, we'll get started here in just a couple minutes. Let's sage up the joint. This is how you make crypto go up. Ontario, Portugal, Germany, Raleigh, North Carolina. That's fairly close. Austria. UK, Holland, Vancouver, Lithuania. Thailand, Lawrence, Kansas, Ireland. I've been thinking about getting to Ireland soon. Wow, cool places. All right, let's do this. So we're going to do some technical analysis. I'm going to look at some of the altcoins that members want to look at after I look at the altcoins that I want to look at. And then I'll go into the YouTube chat and answer any questions from there. So first things first, the dollar. We have to be keeping a close eye on the dollar. Everybody is bearish the dollar, which makes me uncomfortable. I do not want everybody bearish the dollar. There's a ton of shorts on the dollar. And we are setting up and just changing the daily trend for the first time in months. That is notable. Again, I've been talking about this 6-month pattern on the dollar. If the dollar changes its weekly trend from here, every candle here is 6 months. If this equilibriums, the dollar could stay range bound for years in this channel. So we're watching very closely. The size of this bounce on the weekly time frame is going to be very telling. If it is a weak bounce that rejects from the EMA 12 resistance, it's a potential bear flag. And that would just cool off shorter term RSI levels and allow for another leg down. If this bounce gets followed through and gets over these EMA resistances and gets up to the 92s, we're going to be looking at the potential of a weekly trend change setting up. If the weekly trend change changes bullish, the odds of a 6-month higher low being set will increase significantly. We are watching this very closely because it's having a significant impact on all of our assets. We know the inverse correlation has been very prevalent since the bottom of the March dump. Not going to say the keyword that YouTube might get mad at me over, but we are looking at the dollar now shifting momentum. It has been gold, silver, assets, crypto, all bull, dollar, all bear. If the dollar starts going bull, we're going to see the impact in these markets. The S&P 500 closed fairly weak to end the week because of the dollar, in my opinion. The metals are showing weakness as well. Bitcoin is not showing us this weakness on the daily time frame. In my opinion, Bitcoin was very overextended. When you get very overextended, you see significant pullbacks and you form equilibriums. That's normal price action. So I don't think the dollar is having a significant impact, but you better believe that when the dollar starts trading again, tonight, I have to double check, tonight or tomorrow, I forget how the holiday is going to impact it here, but once it starts trading again, we're going to be paying close attention because if the dollar were to see a significant short-term move to the upside, there is potential that that could lead to weekly Bitcoin consolidation. Right now on the weekly time frame for Bitcoin, it's just a big old inside bar. And we could even form another inside bar this coming week. But we have not seen weekly consolidation in any way, shape, or form since 9,800. We should be prepared for weekly consolidation at any point. It should not surprise us when it happens because we have run 300% since the last weekly consolidation. So how this daily equilibrium breaks is going to have significant impact on the weekly time frame. So since we've last checked in, we've been getting time and time again the most likely scenario playing out, which has been wonderful as traders. We knew to be watching for a 4-hour equilibrium and tightening range. We got it. It broke bull. As soon as that happened, we knew to zoom out and scout a daily lower high. We got it at 4,127 here on Coinbase. And now we are looking for a daily higher low, ideally holding 32,000, but pretty much we just need a daily higher low compared to 30,000. The bulls really want this to be our daily higher low at 33,850, the low of today. And we'll look at what needs to happen for that to be the case. And why the bulls want that is because, again, the more we would retrace within this equilibrium, the more the bears would begin to have favor. So we don't want to drop down close to that 30,000 level, because then getting back to 40,000 from there is a much more daunting task for the bulls. So again, if we were going to draw this out, it would be our all-time high, low of the pullback, lower high, scouting the higher low. And we'll zoom in just a second and go through our time frames. But I want to highlight here the psychology and how significant you can feel it. If you've been trading this crypto space long enough, you can feel the massive shifts in sentiment and psychology on a day-to-day basis. All bears, all bulls, and everybody, I was getting Twitter messages and messages on YouTube saying, hey, Bitcoin, you said that Bitcoin was going to have to see increasing bull volume to see a new all-time high. We're not getting it, but we're getting right back up to that resistance. What's going on? Are we going to get the bull break? And it's just no, just got to be patient, because without that bull volume, lower high. Since then, all bear control. Aside from the last 5 hours, which we will look at, the bears have had significant control over the last few days. And it's just, you can just see everybody swaying from one side to the other. Oh, are we about to break all-time high? No. Are we about to break 30,000? And that's just the price action jerking everybody around. And it's just these waves of emotion as we are finding this tightening price range. So zooming in, 4-hour time frame. 4-hour right now is just looking for a lower high. Anything under 37,948, let's just call it 38,000. Anything under 38,000 is a 4-hour lower high. We have to see a 4-hour trend change back to the bulls if we are going to be saying our daily higher low has been set in this equilibrium. So again, the bulls have had complete control since the morning low, but we are scouting a 4-hour lower high, and that momentum will shift back a little bit. One thing to note, and this is something that TheChartGuys Toby mentioned, so shout out to him, but he was pointing out how the similar scenario was shaping up to this consolidation here. And this is just a more prolonged version, but we hit our low of 32,500, and then we broke that low by just a couple $100 before a significant shift and a big bull move. And here we had the same thing where we had our low of 34,300, and we broke that support level by a few $100 straight into the bounce. So again, if I'm looking at this 4-hour time frame, I'm getting shaken out a lot more than if I'm zoomed out and saying, okay, we're looking for the daily higher low. The inside bar broke bearish. It has not been set yet. And again, using the 4-hour for details about when that higher low is set on the daily time frame. But the daily time frame is all that matters to me until this tightening range breaks. This is priority number one and the most clarity. And all we're doing is zooming in from here and trying to get information as far as details that shift the probability of which direction we are going to break. I still favor a bull break. I favor a bull break because of the prolonged uptrend. And that is continuation, in my opinion, is more likely than a significant bear break. That being said, you absolutely better believe that I am prepared for a bear break as far as what my game plan is. I have a game plan for a bull break. I have a game plan for a bear break. I'll go over my positions here in just a bit. As we get to them, I have my core Bitcoin swing position that I have been trading around, and I've been establishing core positions in ETH and Link as well. And I like having that core and then trading around it because I have my core. I'm constantly watching those coins, and I see short-term opportunities that I otherwise would want to trade my core around. But because I have cash on the side, I'm just day trading and dropping my break even on small moves. And I'll give some examples of that. But equilibrium. Bottom line, 4-hour trend change back to the bulls would indicate our daily higher low has been set, and it's possible we set a daily higher low, set a daily lower high, and tighten up within this range into mid of this coming week. We can easily stay within this range for another few days, potentially into the end of next week if things were to get real tight. This is the kind of scenario where, if I'm a famous billionaire or if I am trying to get some notoriety, I am loading this daily equilibrium and then putting out a headline. Think of how easy it would be for Elon Musk to load $100 million of his personal funds during this consolidation and then put out the headline, instant all-time highs. And then, of course, he donates all those proceeds to the less fortunate in the world. But I'm watching for some kind of headline for a potential catalyst as things get really tight here, because it's been a little bit quiet out there. A little bit of FUD, but watch those headlines when we get real tight. We know that the market sure has quite the timing with headlines and really tight ranges waiting for a break. Dominance chart, bear break, very notable. What have we been saying for the last couple weeks? Sideways ranges on Bitcoin favor altcoins if we're going to see an alt season. We saw a 4-hour range that kicked it off here when we were at all-time highs. Alt started to get some attention when we traded sideways there. And then we were looking for a daily range that we were going to trade within for at least a week to be a mini alt season. And we're getting that very nicely. Pretty much ideal scenario with the equilibrium on the daily of the dominance chart breaking bear while the US dollar equilibrium continues to tighten up. So clear bear break. That being said, for all you altcoin bulls, yes, there has been significant opportunity. Do not lose sight of the most likely scenario. Look at the weekly chart of the dominance chart. What is the most likely scenario? A weekly higher low. If you're going to see a prolonged alt season, you're going to need to see a head and shoulders here, because anything above 60, 80 is a higher low, and that higher low is very likely, and we're then going to be looking for a lower high if the pullback is significant enough compared to 73.63. So if I'm an altcoin bull and I want a good spring, that's what I want to see happen. But with that, we know a weekly higher low is coming. ETH/USD, daily chart is looking good. Higher low already established on the daily. So high, low, we topped out on this bounce. We set a higher low at 1065, little higher high, and now a little daily inside bar. We're just tightening up as we have sights on 1351, and then the all-time high right behind it by, 5% behind that? 6% behind that, we got the all-time high. And that's what everybody's watching. And the ETH/BTC daily chart broke bullish. And the dominance chart broke bearish before the ETH/BTC chart broke bullish. What does that tell us? The smaller coins were moving up as far as they were making bull moves. A lot of the coins in the DeFi space, Ethereum wasn't doing it yet. So the smaller coins moving up led to the dominance breaking bearish, and then Ethereum broke bullish. So we're now looking at Ethereum's 3546 high, and the best case scenario for the ETH bulls. Look at this 2-month time frame. And it's an inverse head and shoulders setup. Bigger picture. We have a little lower high here where we topped out at 4165. Here's our head. Then we topped out with a lower high at 406. Here's a little 2-month higher low. If this bull break gets over 406 and 4165, there is a lack of resistance in this range. And that would be best case scenario for the ETH bulls to thrive in all-time highs, the US dollar pairing, if we can get a bull break over those two resistance levels. Just looking at it on the weekly time frame, it's not as clear, but you can see that over those levels, there is a lack of resistance. There is a lot of space for the bulls to play up there, and the volume is very notable here. So step number 1, break the high, the highest price we've seen in a couple months here, or the highest point, I should say. And I am in an ETH position because of this bull break. So ETH, it took a little bit of maneuvering because I'm always going to be protecting my positions. Because again, Bitcoin could break 30,000 and see weekly consolidation. So for ETH, I made an entry yesterday, and it was a good entry, and it was, I forget exactly where it was, but my intention is to establish a core position to hold for all-time highs. And I've left some profit on the table by doing that, because my entry here was maybe in the mid-11s, now low 12s. Either way, it saw significant upside once we hit 1294 here, and then we gave it all back. And I ended up getting stopped out of my position on this break of 1200. That being said, I woke up this morning, I saw the setup that was shaping up, I saw Bitcoin setting up for a 15-minute trend change after a very significant bounce, and I re-entered my position pretty much exactly where I got stopped out. I got stopped out in the upper 1190s, and I had 2 orders that filled here at 1199 and 1190, 2, 3, or 4, I forget what, and essentially just stopped out to be protective while I was sleeping, woke up, saw the double bottom, had some confidence, back in, same price, and now I have a new level to be going off of as far as my stop loss is concerned. I have taken a little bit of profit this morning, just now, right before the live stream at 12:40s, and that's just learning from the last time around, taking partial profit. I took 30% of my ETH position profit on this move, just to make me a little bit more comfortable knowing that a 4-hour lower high is absolutely possible on this bounce, and it's expected on the Bitcoin USD bounce. Most likely scenario is a 4-hour lower high here. So I'm locking in a little bit of profit. Link has had my attention as well. Why? Because of its Bitcoin pairing. Beautiful daily equilibrium breaking out. Daily Bitcoin pairing chart breaking bullish in combination with a coin that is near all-time highs on its US dollar pairing is best case scenario. So that was the case for Link and ended up getting back in. And I've been riding this one around a lot as well. Much smaller position because it's a lot more volatile, but trading it this morning, look at this beautiful hourly equilibrium. I entered in the low 20s here looking for the higher low. I put my stop under 1940, and with this bull break, I exited in the 2290s because, again, we're overextended. No, 2190s because we're overextended and we are looking for Bitcoin to give us a 4-hour lower high. This is a potential daily bull flag on Link. So I'm definitely keeping a good bit of exposure, and 1940 is now our key support level. All-time high was yesterday at 2296, and obviously bulls want more. Potential 4-hour equilibrium if this pullback continues, if Bitcoin gives us the 4-hour lower high. That may be our 4-hour lower high on Link, and then we would look for a 4-hour higher low compared to 1940, and I would add back what I just sold a lot lower, playing off that 1940 support level. Link BTC, very correlated with the US dollar pairing. So there's our checklist right there. What do we want for an altcoin to have our attention? Bitcoin pairing, breaking bullish on the daily, proximity to all-time highs on the US dollar pairing, and Bitcoin pairing and US dollar pairing significantly correlated on their uptrend. And we can see that for Link, that is the case. All three of those are being checked off, and we have the same scenario here with the potential of a 4-hour lower high. It's a bit more of a double top, but watching this 4-hour tightening range, the 4-hour EMA 12, keeping the bulls in control, and the notable shift that took place on that daily time frame. Let's go to Link BTC on a different exchange with more price history. Big weekly bounce, just looking for a lower high. This looks like a lot like the dollar. And I'm just having a flashback right now because it hasn't been relevant for so long. But the Bitcoin dominance chart, if you remember months ago and you've been following along, we were talking about the Bitcoin dominance chart being inverse or directly, being inverse related to the dollar. This right now looks, if you covered this up and told me this was the dollar, look at how similar that looks. They're the same thing. Altcoin bulls are okay with the dollar bounce. So Link BTC, looking for the weekly lower high, a lot of space for it to form. And we'll certainly be looking for a daily higher low. Actually, we may already have it depending on how this potential bull flag attempt plays out. So with that, we were watching this Link BTC, and again, I'm going back months, and we were looking at this and saying, man, look at how Link has just fallen off the map. Link and Binance were our lead altcoin bulls for a long time back in the summer. And then they just completely fell off to the wayside for months and months and months. And Link gave us a bull break first. And because they have been so similar, that then perked me up on Binance and had me saying, I'm not trading Binance, but 100 times, watch Binance, watch Binance. It's going to be looking to do a laggard move, the same as Link just did. The Binance BTC pairing. We just changed the daily trend. We're trying to close over both the daily EMA 12 and 26 for the first time in over 3 months. Look at the weekly chart. Again, we're just looking for a weekly lower high, but the proximity of Binance to the all-time high, which is being tested right now, has a good setup for if this bounce gets followed through. We need increasing bull volume here. Not enough. We need more. Because again, look at how Link did it on its daily chart, and look at that bull volume. That kicked things into gear here. And we're not seeing enough of that. You know, no big candle. It's right now a slow and steady move, but watching for it. And it's a nice laggard play to that Link move. One more thing I want to note before I look at some of the member requests. So the Trader Pro alert system, when you're in a tightening range, we have a daily equilibrium forming. A tightening range means the price levels as far as highs and lows and trends becomes less clear. If I'm trading stocks and it's a daily inside bar, I know the 5-minute time frame can get really choppy, and I pay less attention to the 5-minute time frame and more attention to the 15-minute and the hourly, because price levels are less of a clear signal to us when things are tightening. That being said, the alert system with the super stack alert, to put that in these market conditions, we need to zoom in. We're not going to be hitting daily or 4-hour extreme oversold conditions when we're in a tightening daily range, but we will hit short-term time frame extreme conditions. So just looking at the signals that Bitcoin, or actually we'll do ETH first, has been firing off. So ETH USD, we had an hourly super stack that had a nice little top before a significant pullback, and then we had a half-hour super stack that marked this little bottom here down into the low. So using these shorter term alerts, for those of you that are using the alert system, shorter term time frames, the 30-minute, we weren't using the 30-minute much on the way up because it didn't really have any use for us. But when we're in a tightening daily range, the 30-minute time frame is doing a good job of marking these bounces, and it's worth zooming in for those details. And then once these daily ranges break and things open up again with volume and volatility, those 30-minute signals will take a back seat, and we'll start looking at hourly and 4-hour signals more often because the price ranges will be hitting them more often. So tightening ranges, we zoom in on which alerts that we're using if we're trading within those tightening ranges. Let's look at tickers. I guess they're coins. OMG. So we'll look at OMG USD and OMG BTC. Because again, I am not looking at any altcoins these days without looking at their Bitcoin pairing pretty much first. That's most important to me. So a nice tightening daily range that is trying to break bullish. It has broken one level bullish. We need the volume spike that Link gave us. Link is your primary ideal scenario as far as what it should look like to be best case. So 11,832 breaking on increased bull volume would definitely stand out to us. And again, it's the same thing where it's just been an absolute downtrend for a very long time since August. This is definitely the same setup that Link and Binance both saw. They were the leaders back in August into September. They topped out, and it's been nothing but bears since. So OMG is looking to Binance and is looking to Link and saying, hey, I want to get in on that as well. I want a weekly oversold bounce. I guess it's not oversold. I want a weekly bounce. Have to prove it with the daily volume. So the US dollar pairing is tightening up as well. High, low, huge range. And again, if you don't want to have as much risk when you're playing these altcoins, use smaller position sizes. My Link position, for the most part, is 20 to 25% of what my Bitcoin core is. So OMG is hoping for a daily higher low. Anything above 258, we need a 4-hour trend change back to the bulls. It's a nice 4-hour equilibrium. I like this time frame better than anything as far as clarity is concerned. Watching for anything under 388, 389 to be a lower high, and then we would look for a higher low compared to 331. So if I'm sitting here and I want a bullish position and I don't want to chase and I want a good entry that has good risk reward, I'm just saying, okay, if OMG USD breaks bullish here, I'm not going to be involved in this trade. But if the trade comes to me and we get a lower high, I will absolutely enter a higher low with a stop fairly close by. And if we end up breaking this equilibrium bullish after it tightens up more, I have a great entry. And that's what Link just gave me on the hourly time frame. It was the same thing, just a different time frame. I made an entry based off support, knowing it was nearby, knowing that we were looking for a 4-hour higher low, seeing the base of support established, and my risk reward at that scenario was great. If I entered at, I think I entered maybe 2030, 2040, my risk there is $1, $1.10. And the reward at this point is already that much. And if we get a new all-time high, obviously, then we start to get multiples where our reward is multiple times what the risk was. Link USD, we did XTZ USD. XTZ BTC. daily bull break. So here's a nice equilibrium, uptick in volume, breaking multiple resistance levels. Again, we zoom out, we remind ourselves we are just looking for a weekly lower high, just like the Bitcoin dominance chart is just looking for a weekly higher low. But the bulls have the momentum in their favor as long as the daily uptrend is intact. And with that bull break, the daily on the US dollar pairing broke bull as well. Most names are in tightening ranges here, but a nice bull break on XTZ. That being said, we did just see a 50% plus move with no daily consolidation, so we know to be watching for a daily higher low next time we pull back. 4-hour time frame now, just looking for a lower high. And if we were to keep this 4-hour little downtrend going, then we would be looking at daily consolidation likely starting. The best case scenario, we have to be anticipating that if the daily equilibrium breaks bullish on Bitcoin, we are likely going to see the dominance chart set a weekly higher low. Because we know when Bitcoin goes to all-time highs, it gets all the headlines, all the attention, and the dominance chart goes up. So if that happens, we're going to be looking at the potential of US dollar pairings staying strong on some coins, but their Bitcoin pairings breaking correlation with their US dollar pairings and going bearish if Bitcoin gets the attention on that new all-time high. So that's something to be keeping an eye on, bigger picture over the next week plus. But for right now, XTZ, strong on a lot of time frames. And checking on the correlation, 4-hour time frame, lower high potentially being set. I can see the BTC pairing is stronger than the US pairing. If we confirm a 4-hour downtrend on the Bitcoin pairing, then we'll be looking at the potential of daily consolidation to look for a higher low, anything above 205. DOT USDT. Congrats to the bulls here. So big time breakout on the dominance chart. Again, the volume and the follow through is picture perfect. The 4-hour time frame is potentially losing an uptrend here. If we see a little bear break of 464, it'll be a lower high and lower low. Best case for the bulls would be to keep holding this EMA 12 even with the bear break there, which would mean zoom out, and it wouldn't be a daily bull flag, but it would be a 12-hour bull flag if we were to get no follow through. So if this EMA 12, which has been holding for a couple days, stays support, then the bulls keep their complete control. The US dollar pairing is looking like it's doing the same thing. 4-hour EMA 12 support. That's been holding for 4 days. If it is lost, we see bulls lose a bit of their mojo. I wouldn't be surprised to see sector rotation going on, and that's what we see happen in other places, again, the stock market as well, where these lead bulls that broke extremely strong. I'm being distracted by a deer again. If these lead bulls that broke really strong see notable profit taking, we're going to be watching, okay, do these profits go into the laggards like the Binance and the OMG? Is that how we're seeing the shift of capital? I'm just imagining the waves of capital and where they're headed as they disperse around the crypto space while Bitcoin trades sideways. So that's a possibility as well, the high flyers. And I think about that in my Link position as well. You know, if Link BTC starts to give me some red flags, I wouldn't be surprised to see Link profits and DOT profits and Sushi profits go to some of these coins that have not had their notable run yet. So that's worth keeping an eye out for if daily consolidation starts on these coins. And losing the 4-hour EMA 12 support would be a first initial indication of that. BNB, we did it. Algo USDT. So daily resistance 1569 is already a double top, and now it's a triple top. So very key Bitcoin pairing resistance is being tested. As long as bulls keep the 4-hour uptrend, that resistance remains in play. If we lose that 4-hour uptrend without breaking 1569, it is definitely a triple top. And we'll then look for a daily high or low, but that would be a notable rejection. Algo USD broke 53 and is up at the high. 4-hour time frame. Tightening range, most important support is 4819, and we're testing 55 resistance. If we reject from 55 here, tightening 4-hour is likely to form here. And that Algo BTC needs to keep this 4-hour EMA 12. So best case for the bulls, keep that EMA 12, break that double top of resistance, and that would likely lead to the US dollar pairing seeing a more convincing move over 53. The next resistance after that is 55.36, and then we're looking up towards 66. Ren USD, kind of like Run DMT. DMC. So, big upper wick of profit taking on Ren BTC, but obviously the big breakout took place, tightening daily range, increasing bull volume, taking out all resistances nearby. So a very significant bull break. Hourly time frame, just losing the hourly uptrend. So it's looking like a temporary top is being set. We're looking for a daily higher low. We've got a great guide of this EMA 12 for a month plus. Every higher low bouncing off of it. So that's a target we're watching on this Bitcoin pairing. And the US dollar pairing is remaining pretty strong. 4-hour EMA 12, easily holding. Uptrend on the 4-hour, easily holding. So best case for the bulls here, just keep that correlation. Set a US dollar pairing 4-hour higher low. And set a Bitcoin pairing 4-hour higher low at the same time. Still very strong and a really nice guide. The more times I see a name hit an EMA 12 support and respect it, the more it matters to me. If Ren here was, closing below it and getting back above it, I wouldn't care about this EMA at all. But when I just see it consistently holding, I know that that is a key to be watching in the short term. And again, I use that day trading. When I'm day trading stocks on the 2-minute time frame, if I'm looking for an hourly lower high, and I'm looking for a short, I'm watching this 2-minute time frame, riding the EMA 12 up, and as soon as it's lost, I make a top fishing play with the top at that point in time, and I put my stop above it because it's a notable shift in the market environment in a short period of time, and that's what we're watching on this longer period of time. One more here. We've got, who did I miss? And then I'll look at you YouTubers. SYS BTC, 2.5 here is being tested. Definitely worth paying attention to. A break at 2.5 will give us the highest price that we've seen in 6 weeks. Setup is there. Need the volume, need the break. Definitely worth paying attention to. Any coin that is tight on its Bitcoin pairing and has not broken yet, again, it's worth paying attention to for the possibility that I just mentioned of the lead coins seeing profits go into the laggard coins. All right, I'll do a few coins from YouTube, and then I like answering questions that are questions more than coins. So we'll do those as well. Zen and Atom. So Zen BTC, nice daily higher low has been set, watching for the lower high and potential daily equilibrium, but a nice higher low. And the US dollar pairing, higher low as well. 2091 support. Anything under 33.56 is a lower high, but definitely remaining strong. EMA 12 support, great visual guide. Daily uptrend remaining intact. We would have to fail the recent highs and drop to a lower low, confirming a daily downtrend on both pairings for the bulls to lose this momentum that they have. Atom. So Atom, high volume bull break on its Bitcoin pairing. 4-hour time frame, potentially showing us a little bit of weakness, little downtrend there. So it might be time for daily consolidation. We'll look for a daily higher low to form. And same thing on the US dollar pairing. 4-hour, potentially losing the EMA 12, trying to form a higher low here. If we do not, then it's time for daily consolidation. So inside bar very likely to form today. And we pretty much have to see a 4-hour higher low established and confirm a 4-hour downtrend for daily consolidation to be underway. YFI. So starting as daily bull break, what's missing? Volume and follow through. So a very clear top just under 1. Need that bull break and follow through. It's right there for the taking. Let's see if the bulls can take it. And position pretty well if we can. Daily higher low clearly set at 28,400. Looking back up at the 40,000 top, and then the all-time high not far behind that at 44,000. And that all-time high will come into play if we can see that volume spike, that big move forward on the Bitcoin pairing. Definitely worth paying attention to due to the proximity of the all-time high. Binance, YFI, Link, Bitcoin, ETH, all worth paying attention to due to the proximity of the all-time highs. Again, a lot of those DeFi names have already been running to those all-time highs, but keeping an eye on things. All right, now some questions, if you would like, that are not coin related. Do fundamentals on any given coin have any influence on my trades? Aside from Bitcoin and Ethereum, no. Just taking those as the standard 1-2 punch in the cryptocurrency space. But no, I can't tell you what Link does. I don't care, to be honest. I know at one point we are going to have an altcoin that busts the mainstream, and that becomes the coin, and the gains are going to be massive. I don't feel I have an edge in my ability to pick which of the coins, the small fraction of coins, that's going to be. So I will continue to day trade, not caring about the fundamentals. And then once we get that breakthrough coin that goes mainstream, you're going to see another gold rush for everybody to look and find the next one. So people talk about the alt season, and we have these little mini alt seasons, but in terms of being something relative to 2017 gains, percentage-wise, in my opinion, I think we need that fundamental catalyst to see that happen and to lead to that new gold rush. Because 2017 was a gold rush. Who's the next ETH? Because the ETH price action and insane percentage gains had everybody seeing gold nuggets, right? So who's the next one? And obviously, most coins ended up taking people's money. We need something to go mainstream and get that next wave of gold rush if we're going to see 2017 percentage gains again. And that is my opinion in the space. Favorite band to see live? I like a lot of the funk music. I like Lettuce and Motet, and I like Papadosio. Only seen Fish once, but that was a fun show. Would I think that BTC will go below 30,000 at some point? Probability favors it. We have not seen weekly consolidation. If we see another leg up to 60,000 from here, then obviously that probability drops. Hamstring's doing good, thanks. I didn't tear it. I just strained the bejesus out of it. Couldn't walk for a couple days. I still feel it 2 weeks later, but I just got to work it back. Gold and precious metals. I have exposure off these monthly higher lows. I'm playing in my IRA off these monthly higher lows. If they break, we confirm monthly downtrends and we lose the monthly EMA 12 support for the first time in years. And that'll be a notable shift. Again, everybody's looking bearish dollar and bullish the metals, and we're shaping up for the possibility that we see a dollar bull move, at least on the weekly time frame, and the metals with a bear break. So I will absolutely respect these stops. You know, it was a great monthly higher low, a great EMA 12 support hold, but the lack of follow through is setting up the possibility for a daily trend change. So I will exit, and I do have some exposure to physical, which I'm obviously not trading at all, which will have me even quicker to exit my IRA positions. Way too early for the ducks. We need 3 or 4 months. XAU USD is the gold spot price. Booting some clowns. market cap being much bigger than 2017 is absolutely a factor that I do not believe we see another 2017. How do I find certain entries of short and long when in range-bound market just below support or resistance? How do I deal with fake outs? So I will get stopped out plenty of times. It's the times that you don't get stopped out where it's worth it. Again, let's go to Link. Link was a better example. It was entirely possible that I would have gotten stopped out of that Link trade and just eaten that little loss, and that would have been perfectly fine. The support and resistance levels will hold enough that they are definitely worth playing off of. Anybody shorting Bitcoin at 40,000 for the daily lower high or hedging their long positions nailed it. So there's plenty of examples where you can look at support and resistance holding and allowing for great trading within tightening ranges. And then there's plenty of examples where you can point out fake outs, but I like to give wiggle room. Like down here, when I was playing off these supports, I had my stop under 19 psychological. I'm giving a good bit of wiggle room in case we break and then see that bull move, because that happens a lot. But there's plenty of times where we just stay nice and tight and see equilibriums respect levels and then break, which was the example of the Link hourly equilibrium this morning. LTC BTC is not bullish. It made a clear bear break. Had a chance to be bullish. We had a triple bottom and a triple top, and we broke bearish. It's pretty simple. There's your triple top with all these rejections. There's your quadruple bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holds. Fell through it. Struggling around that level now, but we're nowhere near where we were 2 weeks ago in relation to Bitcoin. Weekly time frame. Look at the monthly chart. It could be a monthly little bear flag. And actually, what was the low? 3626. So it's a double bottom at this point, but another leg down, and it confirms a monthly bear flag. And Litecoin would then be the weakest it's been comparative to Bitcoin in almost 4 years. It had its time to shine, and its time to shine was quick, short-lived move. 3 days, 3 days, 3 days. That's it. What's different? That's a good one. What's different with my approach this time around compared to 2017? Number one, life is more important this time around. I accomplished all my goals in 2017. I was changing my life to trade cryptocurrency. I was living in a shed. It was a community house, and we would have parties and stuff, and I would go to bed early and go trade cryptocurrency because I knew this opportunity was not going to last, and I wanted to capitalize on it as much as I could while the market conditions allowed for that opportunity. So I was waking up every 2 hours. I was basing my sleep schedule on cryptocurrency trading. I was going all in all the time. Every trade. Oversold bounce, 4 hour oversold, great, all in. I look back on it right now and I cannot believe what I was doing, because I will never do that again as far as being that aggressive and having that much risk and reward on my trades. So less capital being put into play, less market buying, absolutely. I was market buying bull breaks all the time in 2017, and even taking out resistance walls, helping to take out resistance walls for those bull breaks to take place. And this time around, I am doing a lot more passive. If something happens and I'm not at my computer, whatever, I'll get it next time. I'm just looking to hit my goals, and my goals right now are certainly less than what was accomplished in 2017. I don't trade crypto stocks. I'll trade the cryptocurrencies, but when the stock market's open, I'm focused other places. I have traded Riot, a few times. That volatility has been nice, just for day trades. A big bull move in the US dollar to the crypto space would probably lead to some notable weekly consolidation. What percentage am I in stocks to crypto? So my day trading account in stocks is And it's been shifting significantly, obviously, with this crypto bull market. It used to be 5 or 6 to 1 stocks versus crypto. At this point, it's 3 to 1 stock capital versus crypto capital. It's the fees. It's the fees. If I had Coinbase fees on my stock account, I would be spending millions of dollars in fees. Just because I'll market buy and market sell all day long, 15, 20 times. Those would be 5-figure days in fees. It's a huge difference. How did I learn TA? Through a bunch of time and effort and a mentor. I was in the forums just poking around. I found somebody who seemed like they knew what they were doing, so I just followed them. When they said something that I didn't understand, I Googled it, I read articles on it, and I compartmentalized my learning in that style. Like, oh, he just talked about RSI. I don't know what the RSI is. I'm going to spend the next hour or 2 hours researching RSI. And you can take notes, treat it like college, write notes, review your notes. And they would say something about Ichi clouds. I would review it. I would put it into practice. I would play around with it. I'd say, man, that doesn't really resonate with me. I'm going to understand what it is, but I'm going to ditch that one off to the side. And it was just going through everything for 10 years in that style. YouTube, articles, never read a book about trading, but having someone to answer questions and just point. They weren't giving me in-depth courses or in-depth information. They would just point, and it would be up to me to go down that rabbit hole for the next couple of days. I treated learning as my full-time job, essentially as if I were going to be going to school, 6 to 8 hours every single day. I was going to work education about trading and technical analysis. What is the size of my no-touch crypto holdings versus total liquid assets? So property is a non-liquid asset. It's changed, but at this point in time, maybe like 7% of liquid assets. I don't like Ichi clouds. They're not for me. That doesn't mean... Think about it this way with technical analysis. Every single style of technical analysis, Ichi clouds, EW waves, anything, there is somebody in the world that uses that as the backbone of making their living. So for someone to be successful, like for me, I'm successful using price levels, RSI, volume. If I'm going to look and say, nah, Ichi's a joke, it doesn't work. That is the most ignorant statement I could make, because there is someone who has devoted 10,000 hours to Ichi clouds that uses it on a daily basis successfully. And you can say that about every single style of technical analysis. So it's not for me, but it is absolutely for somebody. What would it take to sell my no-touch crypto holdings? Gains. If it got insane gains, I would take profit, but it can go to zero. No biggie. Time to boot some clowns. If you keep posting the same thing over and over, you get the boot. One moment. think we're about done. Yep, we're done. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Enjoy Martin Luther King Day tomorrow if you get it off. Enjoy it if you don't get it off. Daily equilibrium. 4-hour trend change needed on Bitcoin for the daily higher low to be set. We are just looking for a 4-hour lower high on this current move. The bulls are going to have to prove it into tonight, into tomorrow, if that's going to be our daily higher low. That is why I've taken some profit from morning entries and yesterday entries because of the anticipated 4-hour lower high, just to be a little bit protective of those profits. And if we get this daily higher low, we'll be looking for a break on Wednesday night. Complete guess. We'll take it one day at a time as always. Have a good rest of your day. Appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for the likes and the shares and the comments and all that.